W0TX repeater.
This is K1 DBC. All stations please stand by. The DRC Learning Net will start in 5 minutes. This is K1 DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Good evening. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. I'm net control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net tonight. This is a direct net for the purpose of connecting amateurs seeking help or advice with Elmers willing to mentor. This net meets every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 1930 hours on the W0TX repeaters, frequencies 145.490, linked with 448.625. Both have a negative offset and a tone of 100. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? For recognition by net control, please use your call sign. Everyone is welcome to join in. This is an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. If you have any questions for the Learning Net and don't yet have your license or otherwise wish to contact the net, you may do so via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We also have a public mailing list at groups.io under the name of Ham Learning Net. And additionally, we're streaming to YouTube at youtube.com/WEREGR8 Whiskey Edward Romeo Edward Golf Romeo 8. You can find live stream as well as archived videos there. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo. AA 0 JK. Good evening. We've got traffic.
All right, net control. I'd like to thank and acknowledge the following Elmer. AA0JK, Fred with traffic. Thanks so much for checking in. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix being the first letter after the number in your call sign. Please use ITU phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic or questions for Elmers as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0, Lima Alpha India, K0 LEI, Larry in Lakewood.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, Tom Arvada, no traffic.
W0TX repeater.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Alpha Kilo, David Lakewood, no traffic, no questions.
November 0 Echo Yankee Zulu. Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic. Good evening.
Okay, we'll hold up there for just a moment. Net Control would like to welcome all of the following check-ins. K0LAI Larry, K6HJV Tom, KF0BAK David, N0EYZ Jim, and WD6DOK Rich. Thank you all so much for checking in. Alright, we'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all call signs. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton with traffic.
Kilo 0, Whiskey Alpha Victor, Scott, Littleton. No traffic. K0WAV.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield. No traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. No traffic.
Alright, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. That time I'd like to welcome all of the following check-ins. KE0 NRE Jim with traffic, K0WAV Scott, K0YES Ken, and N0TRP Jim. One more call. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all call signs A through Z. Please call now with your call sign and name and let us know if you have any traffic or questions.
Kilo Delta 0, Yankee Papa Kilo, Mike in Littleton. No traffic.
K1 DBC Net Control. There was a call in there. I couldn't pick. Excuse me. Let go of the push to talk there. There was a KE0 call sign. I couldn't get much on it. I'll call back on you in here in just a minute. And then I had KD0 YPK Mike. So I think there was a KE0 station in there. That's what I caught. If you want to try one more time, go ahead.
Kilo Echo 0 Uniform Victor Lima, Station Denver, no traffic.
Alright, perfect. Much better signal that time. KE0UVL Jason got you checked in. One more call. There'll be a few more opportunities throughout the net, but if you want to check in just for the count or anything else at the moment, please call now.
Kilo 0, Papa Juliet Whiskey. Kilo 0, Papa Juliet Whiskey, just for the count today. Thank you.
Alright, we got K0 PJW Peter. Got you checked in. Thank you so much. Alright, as mentioned, there'll be a few more opportunities throughout the net. Again, this is streaming on YouTube at the moment, and there's archive videos of some other nets and activities. YouTube.com/WEREGR8 for more info on that. If you're not a ham radio operator and you have been just listening, that's another opportunity to see behind the net. With that, we'll go ahead and throw it over to Fred, AA0JK with traffic. Go ahead.
AA0JK, good evening, everyone. And just a note here that the FCC has decided to put out a proposal, docket 20-270. It's a fee proposal, and they want to slap a $50 fee on amateur hams. And I think that is just a little bit steep for people wanting to get their license, $50 fee. People who want to renew their license, $50 fee. Special call letters, $50 fees. Any transaction with the FCC, it appears they want to slam us with a $50 fee. I recently put out a letter to the ARRL, and I highly recommend that everyone else do so also to try to stop this. I'm hoping that the ARRL will propose putting a stop to this docket 2270. Email address headquarters hq@arrl.org or w1aw@arrl.org. That's HQ Hotel Quebec @arrl.org, and let them know what you think about this proposal to hit us with a $50 fee. That's going to be also for those who are wanting to acquire a ham license. It's bad enough, that we've seen a considerable drop-off in the ARRLVE sessions due to just a $6 fee to take the test. Now they want to add $50 to that to get your license. So let's get together and try to put a stop to this. AA0JK, back to net control.
Question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what's the reasoning behind this? Do you know? And is the only way you can communicate with ARRL is through like email, or can I give them a phone call and voice my opinion on this?
Well, the email is far more effective, but yes, you can go to the website. Go to the ARRL's website, and they've got their phone numbers. If you scroll all the way down to the very bottom of the web page, it says "Contact Us," and you will see phone numbers, fax numbers, and then the email. But the email will be far more effective to voice your opinion. Usually the telephone calls usually don't carry much weight.
W0TX repeater.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll voice my opinion on this. This is Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo.
Thank you, thank you. Hope everybody else also pursues suit to this.
Comment.
Great topic here. Yeah, we've had a couple of doubles in there. I'll just go with the last one that I heard where with a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for stepping on someone there. K0WAV. The question was asked what the reason was given for the proposed fee change. According to the FCC and the Ray-Baum Act, that's RAYBAUM Act, it was to cover the automation of the fee structuring process, and it would go with anybody that interacts with the Universal Licensing Service, the ULS. That was their lame excuse. I mean, if you're going to automate it but then charge $50 to automate it, I don't see where we're getting any benefit out of it. So yeah, let the ARRL know, and there's even a place to do FCC comments on the website, but it's very convoluted to get to it, and who knows where they go. Bitbucket, probably. That's K0WAV, back to net.
Comment.
All right, thanks there, WAV. Yeah, go ahead with the comment. Oh, sorry, this is Duron K1DBC. Thanks, WAV, there for the comment. There was another comment in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, AA0JK here. Go to the ARRL webpage, and you will see about halfway down the news items there. Look at the FCC notification there, and that'll give you some of the specifics there of the proposal. So make sure to log on to the ARRL's W1AW webpage and take a look at that. But also, thank you, I believe that was Scott, thank you for that additional information. AA0JK, back to net control.
right. This is K1DBC Net Control. Very, very hot topic for sure. A lot of opinions on it. I have a couple things I could throw in, but there was I wonder if anybody else was had tried to come in there and step in. If there was anyone else on that, go ahead.
Comment.
Yeah, K0 s.t.e.m. Got you checked in, and go ahead with the comment too.
I came in just a little late. Boy, what a lovely, lively conversation. But I got a little confused. Are we lobbying the FCC or the ARRL or lobbying both? K0SUM, back to that.
Comment?
Yeah, A0JK, go ahead.
Yeah, the ARRL is our primary representative to the FCC. You can hit both of them, but I think it'll be far more effective if we've got the ARRL behind us. And of course, the more responses, the better. But to remember that our American Radio Relay League is our primary representative to the FCC, and they'll take more note to input from them than individuals, I would assume. AA0JK, back to net control.
One more question.
Thanks there, Fred, for the follow-up. Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, it only comes to mind, and I hope everybody takes it the right way, but to be a member of ARRL is $49.95 a year, and that's $50. It kind of popped into mind, but just a thought. KU0SUM, back to that.
It's all adding up, isn't it?
Good conversation here. It's K1DBC Net Control. Yeah. Hopefully, I don't think any of us. Some of us may have foreseen this coming. You know, with different things, what's going on. There was a video by K0LWC. He did a pretty good explanation of it. His interpretation of it, it seems like big companies have been fronting the bill for us for many years, and you know, there's always backs and forth on that, but you know, ham radio serves a purpose, and what purpose is it serving nowadays? And that's an ongoing conversation, and there's always lots of things, lots of discussion. I really hope it's not anything to push us out. I mean, this hobby is a very amazing hobby, and it really needs to be sustained. And we're just very, very grateful to have a lobbying system as the ARRL does for us, and to be allocated the spectrum that we do have. Spectrum nowadays is very, very, very expensive. So good discussion, though. I'll throw it out to the net. Does anyone else have any other further comments, questions, or anything about this? Again, arrl.org/news for more info. Again, it's on the Ray-Bombs Act. You can submit a comment on the FCC's electronic comment filing system. I'll throw it out. Go ahead.
JK.
Yeah, A0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, over the past few years, we've been trying to encourage new blood into the hobby, trying to get the younger generation to get in and participate in the hobby. And this is going to be a brick wall for a lot of them. If they show initial signs of interest in the hobby and start seeing all these fees, $50 here, $50 there, we're going to see a considerable drop-off in the people that we need in the amateur radio community to keep our hobby up and going, and also being able to provide a public service in the many areas that the hams participate in. So I think this is very important. So just an additional comment there. Back to net control, AA0JK.
NRE comment?
Oh yeah, thanks there, Fred. Yeah, absolutely. For somebody who's younger, who's mowing lawns, I'm reading here, $50 may be a big deal for some people. So yeah, good point. NRE, Go ahead.
KE0NRE. I understand that there are only two hobbies that require a federal license, amateur radio and private pilots. And I wondered how this new fee structure for amateur radio compared to that for private pilots, if anybody knows. Back to Net.
JK.
I'd imagine if anyone was going to speak up on that, Fred, you would. A0JK, go ahead.
AA0JK, CFII here. It's going to be considerably more than $50 to get a private pilot license. By the time you go in and get the $100 plus medical to get your student permit, and then the additional expense of getting a pilot license, we're talking about like two different worlds here. And also, why should we be paying a fee when the taxpayers, we are paying for the FCC to begin with? We shouldn't be hit with additional fees. Maybe the FCC should start looking into a little bit better management of their tax funds and quit trying to steal us blind with fees.
W0TX repeater.
All right, thanks there, Fred. Yeah, cost of flying is quite astronomical for general aviation nowadays, with just between insurance and whatnot, and I'm sure all the FAA fees that are required, and a lot of regulatory fees and medical costs and ongoing things. It's very costly to fly and be a pilot. I'm guessing just it's much more exorbitant than the fees we're being proposed, certainly. And certainly the cost to break down this K0LWC, I think, broke it down over 10 years. When you do have to renew it, you could be looking at, I forget the numbers he put down. But anyway, NRE, go ahead. I'll throw it back to you.
NRE here. I was just curious. I know the entry-level cost for a private pilot is considerably higher because the lessons don't come out of a book. You actually have to have practical experience under your belt. But in terms of license renewal, is there an annual physical that you have to take and pay for yourself? Is there a special license fee like they're proposing for the FCC that would occur periodically, whether it's once a year, every 5 or 10 years, whatever it is? I was just curious. I'm not a pilot myself, but if this is in line with the only other hobby that the federal government licenses, I just wondered if it was in the same ballpark or considerably different. KE0NRE, back to Net.
JK?
All right, yeah, A0JK, go ahead.
Also, I don't know whether I made note that to renew your license, we have to, every 10 years we have to renew our license to maintain it. Do we want to lose our license over a fee? That license should be good lifetime unless you do something illegal. That license should be good for a lifetime. We work hard to get this license, not to mention the investment we make in equipment to provide public service when needed. But that's something I don't know. I want to make sure that I point it out. I don't think we should be having to pay a fee to renew our license. And back to the pilot license situation, if you go look up the FAA Part 61, and read down through that, it gives you all the requirements to obtain a license. There is what we call a biennial flight review. It's not a fee as such. It's a flight review that you have to take to maintain your privileges, your flight privileges. But that does not take away your pilot license. That's good indefinitely. The same should be for our ham radio license, unless you do something illegal. That your private license is a lifetime issuance, but to exercise it, you have to have a biennial flight review. If you want some specifics, take a look at the FAA's Part 61. Gives you a good breakdown of all the requirements in that section. AA0JK, back to net control.
Comment?
Thanks there, Fred. Yeah, go ahead with the comment, and what's your call sign as well?
Yeah, this is Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo. For what it's worth, Great Britain still holds the, if you have an amateur license in Great Britain, it's good for life. And I hold one, and it's, I don't know, just for whatever that's worth. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
Comment, K0PJW.
All right, thanks there, Rich. WD6DLK for the comment there. Yeah, RSGB's licensing. It seems like it's free, provided by Ofcom. I'll have to read through that, but yeah, it's a pretty neat, interesting as well too point. K0PJW, Peter, go ahead.
I just came in on the tail end of this conversation, but just to add some perspective out there, I don't want to pay any more for my license than I absolutely have to. That wouldn't make any sense to anybody. But, you know, we all have to pay a fee when we get our driver's license, and that's every 4 years. And the equipment that we have to purchase in order to exercise that right, if you will, is far more than the fees that we pay for equipment for ham radio, at least in most cases. I just think we ought to keep some perspective on it. Yes, we ought to push back against the fee as best we can, because that's only rational. But let's kind of have a perspective on this thing, too. $50 is a lot of money, but an increase from 5, 6, 15, whatever it is, I think isn't all that bad. Something on the order of 20 or 25, I would support. K0PJW.
Thanks there, PGW. Yeah, definitely both sides to that. You know, some people that fee is not, it's pretty nominal, and so a lot of people probably don't mind paying that, certainly. And but on the other hand, it certainly potentially brings in a barrier to entry for people who couldn't maybe afford that, even though that cost is really, in the grand scheme of things, for a lot of people is not a big deal, but that's not always everybody's budget. Just real quick, the numbers here that LWC K0 LWC had put up was current costs. Let me drop here for a moment, and I thought there was another comment in there too, real quick. New license, $40. Upgraded general, $15, I guess. Well, you know, some places they don't charge at all. And then, so current cost could be nearly $0 to get licensed, depending on the VE group you go to, or up to about $50, $55 in total for different new license and upgrading. Pros would rank that up to around $230, including the 10-year renewal license. So over 10 years, you could put out $230 under the new proposed fee structure. Again, over 10 years, to a lot of people, that's not a big deal, but definitely changes things. So there was a comment, but yeah, go ahead if somebody had got in there.
AA0JK with a comment. Yeah, the seems like it was 10. What is it? I don't remember. I just got done renewing my driver's license, and it was only $10. $10, and there is the expense of you going in and taking the eye exam and the processing and everything. Not anything like the amateur radio, where all you do is just let them know every 10 years that you're still kicking and want to continue your privileges and maintain your license. So there's a big difference there between your auto renewal and the amateur radio community fees. Also, the Patriot organization gives their licensing for free. I mean, you can go in, take the exam for free, and get issued a license for free through the Patriot Act organization. So there's another thing to consider there. But the ARRL still is charging a fee to for the BE sessions and processing the paperwork, whereas the BE sessions there with the Patriots is all computerized and no fee charged. A0JK, back to net control.
W0TX, repeater.
WAV.
Thanks there, Fred. Yeah, it was the Patriot VE team that I tested with that does provide free testing. Yeah, WAV, I believe it was. Go ahead.
K0 WAV. Yeah, they're saying $50 for a span of 10 years, and if you do the math, that's $5 a year. I guess a bigger question, or a more in-the-game question, is what's the motivation for this? What's the benefit to the ham community from this? Do we get better policing? Do they enforce the the nuisance jamming and stuff like that better? Does it increase anything, or is it to pay for a computer program? The other thing is they're proposing this for anybody that uses the ULS, and that includes commercial stations and everything else. So then the amateur world kind of gets lumped into the same world as as the regular commercial world. Does that mean that some of the restrictions on ham usage for business purposes, is that going to change? I mean, there's more questions here than I think just $50 every 10 years that needs to be fleshed out. And basically what it comes down to is, what's the benefit to us from this fee? K0 WAV, back to net.
All right, WAV, yeah, good questions. There's a lot of questions. Definitely a lot of questions here. I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to take some check-ins, and then we can come back to this discussion here. Let me drop for a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you've just tuned in, or I'm sorry, it's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor and help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there is anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using ITU Phonetics, your name, and state if you have traffic or questions for the net. Please call now.
Whiskey 0, Mike Delta Kilo, Matt in Denver. No traffic at this time.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome all of the following check-ins. W0MDK Matt, thank you for checking in. Anyone else who'd like to take this opportunity to check in just for the counter? If you have traffic or questions or anything for the net, please call now. All right, another reminder, if you go onto youtube.com/WEREGR8, Whiskey Edward Romeo, Edward Golf Romeo 8, you can view a live stream of this as well as archive video of this and other streams and nets.
SUM comment?
Yeah, K0SUM, go ahead.
Oh, well, I've been listening, but I have to go with Fred. It's going to discourage amateurs, because I'll go back to my personal experience of once I learned there wasn't code, studied the tests for a week or so and got my license. That was $15, and then I promptly bought on Amazon a $20, I don't know if it was Amazon, a $20 bow bang that I still use, learned how to program it. So I got into the hobby for $35. That's, we want to inspire new people to come in, even if it is a cheaper radio, they may upgrade. But no, I think Fred's right on this. KU0SUM, back to that.
NRE comment?
Thanks there, Jonathan. KE0SUM, K0NRE. Go ahead.
KE0NRE, I think there's an opportunity here if this fee structure goes into effect for the AARL to really benefit from it. For example, if they were to offer any new licensee 1 year free membership in the AARL, they would attract a whole bunch of new hams who would get hooked on the AARL concept and continue to participate, and would certainly offset that first-time $50 license fee. Just something to think about. Back to that.
Good point as well there, KE0 NRE, Jim. Yeah, ARL's fees as well. Sometimes you have to question, and they definitely, I think, do a lot for the fees that we give them. But I mean, potentially those fees could be restructured as well. Some people think they charge too much monthly or for lifetime. But yeah, for sure, giving some incentive to join the ARL might help too. So thanks there for the comment.
Had a double there. Maybe somebody's trying to check in.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't miss too much there. But if there was a double there, please call now.
KB6CC with a comment.
Yeah, KB6CC. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention with respect to fees, sometimes the argument about the public service that's available. I know satellite and cell phone is kind of diminished what the amateur radio does, but there's some parts of the world where amateur radio really does do a public service, and if something really hits the fan, amateur radio is also there. So there's a good argument that takes it off and makes it amateur, non-pecuniary, whatever they call it in the rules. So there's a good argument for reducing or having minimal fees. KB6CC.
All right. Yeah, thank you there, KB6CC. This is K1DBC. Absolutely. Definitely ham radio definitely still stands out there in some parts of the world. I mean, where there's no communication possible other than that. There's definitely news stories out there where ham radio has come in, amateur radio has come into play in public safety. But its role maybe has changed over the years. Anyone else on this discussion, please call now.
JK.
Yeah, A0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Let's not forget the contribution of the ham radio community to the hurricane situation down south right now, the handling of traffic, where cell phones are put out of service due to the damage of the hurricane, and the list goes on. The amateur radio community picks up where the other high techs cease. AA0JK.
Absolutely. That's why there's different areas groups and different groups working with Office of Emergency Management and things like that. I mean, it's definitely there for a reason. Excuse me for a moment.
W0TX repeater.
All right, I think we kind of discussed, I think, probably as much as we could maybe at the moment for that. We may come back to it if there's not too much else, but I may throw it out. I guess Does anyone else have anything else for the net that they'd like to bring up? We may move on from this topic just at the moment.
Jim, NKE, I believe, had traffic.
Yep, you're correct. KE0 NRE, Jim, go ahead.
KE0NRE, compared to what we've had so far tonight, I have a fairly mundane question. And if there's more discussion on something else, I'm happy to defer this to next week or some other time. It's a trivial matter, I think. Back to net, KE0NRE.
Go with it.
Okay, Fred. My question was, I've been trying to do some reading about J-pole antennas, and I'm getting really confused about whether a J-pole, as it's conventionally configured and put in operation, whether it offers you any advantages at all over, let's say, a vertical dipole antenna, which might be a little bit faster to build and deploy. If anybody's got any experience or knows of any references comparing those two case studies, I'd be interested to learn about it. Back to net, KE0NRE.
JK.
Good question there, NRE, J-pole versus vertical dipole. Fred, A0JK, go ahead.
A real good point there on the vertical dipole there. Just a matter of a couple pieces of wire and a place to put it up. But there's I hear a lot of good things about the J-poles, and I believe they are fairly inexpensive. They're easy to fabricate, and also you can pick them up, I think, inexpensively from HRO. But I would say do some experimentation. But I love the fact that you brought up the fact that you can just make a vertical dipole there. Very, very inexpensive and very effective. So good points there. Thank you. AA0JK.
All right. Anyone else on that question? Please call now.
YPK comment?
Yeah, YPK, go ahead.
YPK, I bought a J-pole from HRO about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm using that right now with my radio, and I've got it in my apartment. It's just going up the corner of the wall and across horizontally, and it's for 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and I'm just getting incredibly good service out of this thing. You can actually use it out in the boondocks. They say you just don't put it on the trunk of a tree. You can hang it anywhere, and it just works fabulously. And I think it cost me about $25. Over.
All right, thanks there for the information there, YPK. Yeah, the J-pole, we've definitely spoken about that quite a bit, and it's fairly inexpensive, and yet there's some pretty good products out there for that. Thank you very much on that comment. NRE, I guess I'll throw it to you. Hopefully that kind of covers it maybe a little bit, or if you have any other follow-up, go ahead.
I've got no first-hand experience with either one of them. I'm using a different kind of UHF, VHF antenna that I also got from HRO. But I was just curious that, when I go out for, in the woods or someplace, and I want to bring along an antenna to give me some better kind of ability to hit repeaters than just the rubber ducky on my HT, I wondered if it was worth bringing a pocket full of wire and a couple of connectors, or carrying a length of copper tubing over my shoulder in the form of a J-pole. It seemed like the former would be a little bit more compact and easy to handle out in the field than perhaps a conventional J-pole might be. Back to net, KE0NRE.
JK.
All right, K0NRE. Sorry, Jim. Thank you there for the follow-up. Fred, A0JK, go ahead.
AA0JK, yeah. You can make the J-pole just out of a piece of twin lead and wire. And I believe that they've got down at HRO the J-poles are wire that you can just kind of roll up and put in your backpack. But correct me if I am mistaken, but I don't think the J-pole has to be made out of copper tubing. Back to net control.
LEI.
Thanks there, Fred. Yeah, just looking up, it looks like there are some twin lead or twin lead J-pole things online, so that is a thing potentially. K0 LAI, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, on the twin lead J-poles, they have a lot of people have these flexible ones. They roll them up and then they deploy them when they're out camping or something, and it's called a s.t.e.m. And I think the guy that made it, his first name is Jim, so he calls it the s.t.e.m. And I think HRO might have a s.t.e.m. kit, but I'm not positive. I haven't looked over in that aisle yet. But anyway, so yeah, you can get it you can make it very easily. If you go someplace like DX Zone, you can do a search for s.t.e.m. antennas or for J-pole antennas. You can find a whole bunch of different ones to build from the website. K0 LEI, back to net.
All right, sounds good. K0 LAI, K1 DBC net control. Yeah, sounds good. 450 ohm s.t.e.m. antenna project. Definitely sounds like a possible thing with twin lead there. All right, anyone else on that? Please call now.
WAV.
Yeah, K0 WAV. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, another real popular twin lead or window line thing is called the Ed Fong. It's Echo Delta, Foxtrot, Oscar, November, Golf, and he's a professor out of I think it's UCLA Berkeley or something like that. And he and his students have come up with this, and they actually sell either kits that you can put together yourself, fully completed ones. They even sell a model that it still uses the twin lead, but they install it inside of a PVC tube if you wanted to have a more weather-resistant setup for a more permanent install. So it's another option for the J-pole style antenna. It's called the Ed Fong twin lead J-pole. K0 WAV, back to net.
All right. Thank you very much for that info and follow-up there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that discussion? A J-poles, twin lead, anything else on that? Go ahead.
KB6CC.
Yeah, KB6CC. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, back in the days when I'd go on camping and hiking, I took along an antenna, and I was just looking on the internet. Can't find it, but it was a little piece of cable fit into an adapter that looks like the Larson connectors for a whip antenna on a car, but then had the coax connector, had the thin little coax. At the end of the little cable was an eyelet. Stick a string through it and toss it up through a tree and pull it up there, and that thing was nice and easy to carry around and worked great. And I can't find it nowadays.
W0TX repeater.
All right, KB6CC. Sorry, I wasn't paying super close enough attention. Hopefully maybe somebody had paid attention and can maybe think about or remember what that might have been. Anyone maybe remember that? Please call now.
JK?
Yeah, A0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Scott, between now and the next Learning Net, if you happen to recall what that was, please make note of it and pass that along to us during the next get-together here on the Learning Net next Wednesday. AA0JK.
All right, will do. And while I'm listening, I'll try to search some more, but I still got it out in the box in the garage someplace. KB6CC.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. KB6CC Scott and A0JK Fred. Thanks there for the information on that. Anyone else on that topic or NRE? If anyone else has anything on that antenna discussion, please call now.
NRE comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the feedback I heard tonight. It's going to keep me busy for another week or so, chasing down some of these leads and finding out more about the alternatives to a copper J-pole. I appreciate the discussion tonight. Thanks very much, everybody who contributed. Back to net, KE0NRE.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Thank you there, K0NRE, for the good discussion there. I don't see anybody else indicated that they had traffic or questions, but if anybody else does, we have a little bit more time here. It's usually about an hour long, but there's no hard deadline. So if anybody has any other comments, questions, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
KB6CC again.
Yeah, KB6CC. Scott, go ahead.
Anybody's interested in those old Linco little shirt pocket 2-meter radios? I've been cleaning house and don't even know if it works or needs new batteries or whatever, but it can go to a good home. And same thing with an old Kenwood 7400, something that I don't use. Works great. I was putting in a CES tone board, but I got the tone board tuned, but it didn't get the volume right into the. So it needs a little bit more tweaking, but that can go to a good home too.
All right, thanks there, KB6CC. A Linco pocket radio and a Kenwood 7400 there. It looks like you had put some things on at some point on the Denver Radio Club trading post. I don't know if that was of any help to you, but you may want to. You could try putting things back up on there too again if you want. But yeah, we'll throw it out the net too. There's some equipment out there if you want. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning. Anyone else have any other topics, questions, comments, anything else you'd like to bring up? Please call now. Okay, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning, and I'll go ahead and pass a few things here. I'll go ahead and throw it back out to net after that, and we'll see if anybody else has anything further. K1DBC Net Control. Always like talking about kit building and electronics and through-hole soldering, and I recently bought an $8 QRP kit off of pixiekits.com, PIXIE kits, KITS.com. Or it was $11, I think, with 7.023 crystal. There's some other frequencies you can buy as well, and it's just a little bit different cost. But yeah, this is just one project that I am working on. I'll try to. I think it just came in today. I just got it here actually, so I'll have to put it together, and we'll see how that goes.
Question about the Pixie kit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's CW only. I just caught the frequency briefly. YouTube's working wonderfully. KE0SUM.
Oh, thank you. Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I didn't pay super close enough attention. It looks like it is CW only, and I kind of just looked at I just saw a post of it somewhere else, and I was like, heck, I just want to get some soldering done, and why not? So apparently it is CW only. Let's see. It looks like a single sideband. It looks like it can do as well. I'd have to look up the exact specs of it. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of other QRP kits out there too that have different features, just different pricings. This one is just a little bit more simple. But yeah, I think CW in single sideband.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead with the comment.
I believe that crystal was for 023. Is that right? That's the amateur extra band CW.
Yep, that's definitely within the 40 meter band. I'd have to figure out. Yeah, I am an extra, so yeah, I should be able to use that. But yeah, any other questions, Otter or Jonathan? If you have anything else on that, go ahead.
It looks like a great soldering project for $11. I don't think you can go wrong. KE0SUM, back to that.
Exactly. That's part of the reason why I bought it. I actually saw a post on Reddit of somebody bought it twice and tried to build it twice, and eventually somebody figured out that their diodes are backwards. So I said, heck, for $11, I just want to get some soldering done. So yeah, it's just a little cool project. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to try to do some soldering. It's not terribly difficult, and you get better at it the more you practice, and you learn more about electronics and things like that, and it's just a lot of fun. Over on hackaday.com, we have a Tiny SA, which is a $50 spectrum analyzer, and they speak about the nano VNA, and somebody comments of spectrum analyzers not also a vector network alignment. They're not equal. They deal with frequency and have similar technology presentation, and what they measure is different. Spectrum analyzer lets you look at a signal and figure out its frequency components. It is a passive measurement, and it doesn't inject you anything. VNA lets you look at the transfer function of a circuit over frequency. It injects its own signals as part of the measurement process. The transfer function in layman's terms is output versus input, and is usually in S domain. So $50 spectrum analyzer available on tinysa.org.
W0TX repeater.
Again, I am not an expert. These are just things I am reading and hoping that these people are definitely know what they're talking about. And for the most part, a lot of these are very intelligent people. So please definitely correct me if I'm wrong. Just looking at this specs of this, it's has a high quality MF, HF, VHF input for 0.1 megahertz to 350 megahertz, and then lower for quality for 240 megahertz to 960 megahertz. Searchable resolution, bandpass filters, color display showing 290 scan points, input step attenuator, 0 decibels to 31 decibels, can be used as a signal generator, built-in calibration signal, you can connect to USB. Looks very much like the VNA, reminded me very much of it, but just another tool in the tool shed here. Looking over on reddit.com over r/amateur radio, this guy got very, very lucky. This person got very, very lucky. This very expensive CMU 200 Roden Schwartz spectrum analyzer, I really believe. Yeah, it is a spectrum analyzer, RF signal generator, auto analyzer. He got it off of eBay for a few $100s, I think. $500 plus shipping, and this probably cost 10 grand to begin with. Just looking at this, it's nuts. So, it's always worthwhile looking on eBay and seeing what's there. Maybe something is quote unquote broken, and if you're any good at fixing things, that might be options out there. Again, back over on hackaday.com. I'm sorry, this is K1DBC Net Control. We will start to wrap things up here pretty quickly. Just a few more stories here. Hackaday talking about blackouts, rolling blackouts in California. So they have a pretty good topic, or a pretty good presentation, or a discussion about that and why they're seeing what they're seeing. So pretty good read there. I would just suggest going over to hackaday.com. There's an article from the 31st entitled "What's the Deal with Rolling Blackouts in California's Power Grid?" So lot to read up on, lot of comments to read up on. Very, very pretty neat.
SUM comment.
Yeah, KE0SUM. Go ahead.
You'd mentioned the VNA, the small ones, which I've been studying for quite some time, but they have a lot of power, but they seem to have a fairly long learning curve for an older guy like me. I haven't quite decided if they're worth the investment or not. I watch quite a few YouTubes. Some of them can be kind of confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The learning curve, I mean, I was just looking at these can cost up to tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. So they're very, or that was a spectrum analyzer. Even vector network analyzers in general are very, very expensive pieces of equipment and very, very, lot of things to learn. But for, $50, I think it's matured over time. A lot of the software's matured. And so you can just plug this into your computer and you can kind of see and analyze things on your computer. And it's, for $50, it's just another thing to play around with. Kind of, if you have any interest in antenna building or antenna theory, yeah, kind of just depends.
Well, you bring up a couple valid points for me anyway. It's just not much money to have a powerful tool that once you have it in your hands, it becomes easier to play with. And you have to dedicate time to any new tool and learn how to program it and make it do what you want. KE0SUM, back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just with our radios, sometimes the manual really doesn't tell you all about the radio and actually how to use it and the functionality. So you kind of just have to just start playing around with it and seeing really how to use these things. And so, yeah, this Nano VNA project was a project, an open source project from China, and then eventually definitely spread everywhere and a lot of manufacturing for it. So, some of the documentation was really lacking, but it's definitely matured over time, and hopefully it's become a little bit easier. So, yeah, good question though. All right, I think probably the last thing here, maybe one other thing. This is more related to the internet, and kind of a little bit my alley a little bit. Over this last weekend, there was a pretty big outage, multi-market outage, due to some misconfiguration. So it's that you can read up more on it. That it was probably made a lot of the news between CenturyLink and Level 3, and they're a really big company, and they're doing. CenturyLink bought out Level 3 as well as Time Warner, Charter, Spectrum, and a bunch of other legacy companies. So they have been trying to grow as an ISP for years and years, decades and decades. So they have a lot to do and a lot to learn still. But just if you have any interest, there's some pretty good write-ups out there. All right, one last thing here, just over on rtl-sdr.com. Talked about radio direction finding in the past, and there's this 4-channel phase coherent capable RTL SDR unit that you can use to track signals. So somebody used one to track an FM transmitter on a drone, and it's just kind of interesting, the theory and what you can really do out there. So over on rtl-sdr.com for more info on that. Okay, with that, we will start to take any last calls. Anything else for the net? Any other last-minute check-ins? Anything else? Anyone dying to speak about? Please call now.
W0 Fox Charlie, Jerry, checking in.
W0 Fox Charlie, Jerry, got you checked in.
KF0 APV, late check-in.
All right, and we had KF0 APV, Drew, got you checked in as well. Anyone else? Any other last-minute check-ins, topics, questions, anything else for the net? Please call now.
Kilo India 0 India Delta KI0 ID.
Hi, Clay.
Hello.
All right, KI0 ID. Clay, thank you so much for checking in.
Zero FFC with a quick question.
Yeah, KE0 SFC, go ahead.
Last week you mentioned that there was a digital net that met on Tuesdays. Is that true, or did I misunderstand you?
W0TX repeater.
W0 FFC. Thanks so much.
All right, sounds good. And I apologize. Would you repeat your call sign one more time there, SFC? I don't think I got it correctly.
Whiskey 0 Foxtrot Charlie.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, sorry. Just misheard something else there. Okay, W0 FFC. Yeah, in addition to that, I also did mention there's the Castle Rock Repeater Group has a digital net as well on Wednesdays. I thought it was right in my face the last time I looked at it, and I keep missing it. It's Wednesdays at, I think, 7 o'clock, where there used to be. But another group pretty active, mycerg.club as well, if you have any interest.
W0FFC, again, could you repeat? I missed that.
You know, I'm not sure if they have a digital net anymore, but they have a digital talk group and a bunch of other nets too. It's the Castle Rock Repeater Group, and their website is mycrg.club. Mike Yosemite Charlie Romeo Golf.club.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll take any last calls, any last check-ins, questions, comments, anything else you'd like to bring up for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. I think somebody tried to check in or pass some traffic there. I really could not catch anything on that. If you want to try again, or if anybody cut that clear, go ahead. All right, one more time. If that was somebody trying to check in, or if there's anybody else trying to check in, or anything else for the net, please call now. Okay, with that, seeing as it's at around quarter till, probably just start to wrap things up here. I appreciate everyone being here and just cover some club business. More info on the Denver Radio Club at our callsign.org. It is W0TangoXray.org for more club info. General info. Our next meeting, club meeting, is going to be September the 16th at 7 p.m. Presented by Robert White, K0RCW. And its a topic presentation is operating off-grid. He's going to share with another of his interesting home-built projects. Take a look at system off the grid as much as possible. Full-time packet, like many hams, want the ability to run station off the grid for periods, weeks, days, ultimately forever. Looking at basic measurements, size requirements, and briefly examine solar panels, charge controls, lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO, let's see, lithium iron phosphate, yeah, okay, just lithium iron phosphate, batteries, as well as distribution side from power poles to USB-C, iPhone charging schemes. So, yeah, more info on that at w0tx.org. It's going to be at 7 p.m. It's online. It's a Google Meet. And there's a Elmers session from 6 p.m. to 6:45. And everyone is welcome to join that, just a general Q&A. So more info on that at w0tx.org. And since these take place online, you do not even have to be a ham radio operator to be involved. You don't have to be a ham radio operator really to be involved in pretty much any of the activities that we do. If you're going to transmit on the air, obviously, but you're always more than welcome to really be a part of any of the activities outside of the net until you get licensed. Let's see. Club President Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV, has mentioned the 2020 holiday dinner has been canceled. Holiday dinner party was scheduled for December 16th and has been canceled due to the ongoing COVID situation. We also have a monthly newsletter, the Roundtable. You do not need to be a member at all. I mean, you will receive an email if you are a member, but you can view it online for free without any logging in. So just more info from Club President on all the things we're kind of just discussing, who's new, technical committee reports, Learning Net reports. So if you have any other further interest on that, there's further info there. Also, as mentioned, I will try to continue to do this. I've been live streaming our nets and editing some of our content that we've been doing, some of our presentations, and putting them online. So if you ever want to go back and listen to a net, Wednesday night or Sunday night net, you can do that. We also have some topics recently put up as the Cold War RF espionage by Orland Wolf, WW0LF. We also have the Skywarn Spotter and ADSB by W0GV and Jeff Ryan's talk. So plenty of info on there and plenty of things to watch and go back to see. And sorry, that is youtube.com/WEREGR8. That is Whiskey Edward Romeo, Edward Golf, Romeo 8. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and start to close things out here. I appreciate everyone being here. Thanks for everyone checking in. We had a pretty nice healthy net here, 21 check-ins. Thank you all for being here. Next week, we'll have the same thing, 7:30 p.m. on the 9th. So this is K1DBC. If you wish to contact the Learning Net with topic suggestions or to set a date to act as net controller, operator, or guest Elmer, you may do so at any time via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. It's not that formal. You don't definitely need to do that. Definitely drop in any given Wednesday. I'm more than happy to help you out. And if you look on YouTube, you can see kind of what I do and what I go through for net. So also, we're on groups.io/g/ham learning net, and we're cross-posting things on there as well. Again, as mentioned, we had a total of 21 check-ins, and we would like to thank everyone who participated. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. We invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. In face, this would be at the Jefferson County Administration and Courts building, but as mentioned, due to COVID, it's all online. More info at w0tx.org for more info. Everyone is welcome. Please join us next week, September the 9th at 7 p.m., 1930 hours Mountain Time for the next DRC Learning Net. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, this is K1DBC. Again, thanks all for being here this evening. I hope everyone is staying safe. And 7-3 to all, I am clear.